Welcome or welcome back to Trail and Ultra Running Training. My name is Will Frantz. I'm a trail runner, personal trainer, strength coach, running coach, blah, blah, blah. The whole goal of this podcast is to help you or anyone get a little more free information so that they can train better and run better. And if you appreciate it, please share it with someone who you think might find it useful, or leave a rating or review or anything that just kind of spreads the message a little bit. If you've already done that, thank you, genuinely. Anyway, let's talk about why you might want to run an ultra marathon or a marathon or any of these endeavors that take a lot of training and effort and which we put a ton of time into, right? So the topic of a why is a big thing. We always hear you find your why. Do make sure you have a why. Simon Sinek wrote a whole book Start with Why. It's a great concept, and I think you probably do need one, but I don't know if you need to have it clearly clearly defined, right? Like it something to drive you will get you through when you want to quit. And having some tangible thing or tangible person for whom you're thinking about, right, can be really useful, right? So if we're in some I've had multiple people tell me that they keep their kids or their family or their friends top of mind throughout the race because those people tend to sacrifice a lot for us when we do those crazy races. Sometimes they crew us, sometimes they're actually there, and then sometimes they've spent months working around our schedule or seeing us less or picking up some slack at home. And it can help to remember that when you're out there and just tired. I'm not a death before DNF person, and I strongly bet your family wouldn't be either. But if you're just tired and things hurt, yeah, it's mile 80 in an ultra marathon. You're going to be tired and things are going to hurt. And you're probably going to want to quit a couple times. And if we can just think about some of the sacrifices we've made and the sacrifices that other people have made for you, because you're not dying, you're not injured, you're tired. Um, that helps to keep moving and help us finish the race, right? But that's not necessarily the deeper why of why we do these things. We don't do these things for our family. It's good to show kids that they can do hard things, but we can do that in a lot less time than it takes to train for an ultra. And so while there's a nice benefit to being an example in certain instances, probably not how we got into this. There's probably something deeper in you that drives this desire to run really far. And that's okay because we're allowed to do things for us. We often forget that. I feel like we only pursue things or only openly pursue things for others, but it can also just be for ourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves, then we can't do very well at taking care of others, right? So it doesn't need to be for other people. It can just be for you why you want to go finish this thing. Second, when we talk about why, it doesn't need to be a deeper thing either. It can be I've coached people who they are running for charity and it's a huge driver for them. And that's really cool. But I can tell you for a fact that's not why I'm drawn to ultras or really long distances or these hard things that I seem to pursue throughout my life. I do them because I almost need to. There's a need that I can't really explain, but you might get it. And I hear something about a 100-mile race and it sounds horrible, but I also want to know what does that feel like? What's it like to run your A? Or what's it like to push yourself through an FKT of whatever, right? It just kind of eats at me for a while. And it's not really that I want to prove that I can do it, because after doing pacing math for a lot of people, you can probably do it, right? That's really what it comes down to. Finishing many ultras requires you to move for long amounts of time. Doesn't require you to be very fast. A lot of hundreds have a 32-hour finishing time, and to finish 100 miles in 32 hours, it's a little slower than a 19-minute mile. I think it's a 19:12. It's just not that fast. It's not a trudge. You're not like limping along, but it's not a run. It's like a mildly fast walk. And with enough food, motivation, lack of need to sleep, so caffeine, you can almost certainly finish an ultra. And yes, we should definitely train appropriately. We want to prevent injuries. But if you have a moderate capacity for suffering and an ability to stay awake for a day and a half, and some fueling strategy to make sure that your legs don't completely go limp, you'll finish. And I know that. So it's not really proving to myself that I can finish. It's more just this deeper need to do the things, right? And I don't know how to describe it. When I hear people running on stress fractures, but like a large part of me says like, oh, don't do that. It'll prolong injury, etc. There's also part of me that gets it, that understands the deep, unrelenting need to just go. And this is not a path to do that. I think it's real dumb. And I'm injured a lot. And I've been injured a lot for a reason because I don't necessarily have the healthiest relationship with movement. But there's just this deep drive for me to do hard things and challenge myself and not to see if I can finish, but to see if I can finish strong and in a respectable time. And I know if I sign up for something, I will do the training. And I really do love the training. I just need an impetus for it. The training is the whole thing. The training is where it's at. It's like doing the training is where I feel like I grow as a human, not in the race. The race is just like a demonstration of the training. It's a day or a day and a half of getting to show what we've built. But like every time I step out the door to do a run or pick up a heavy thing off the ground or get on the stair mill, it feels like a win and a piece of growth. And like double points for every time I really don't want to do it and I do it anyway. And this is where there's like that weird dichotomy in my brain that I don't know how to explain. Like I don't think anybody else needs to do this stuff. I know people who seem very happy sitting on the couch and like hanging out. And I think that's wonderful. And it probably speaks to like a healthier brain than mine. But that's not me. For me, it's like a deeper, again, a need to do things. Um, but maybe somebody listening to this will get that, right? Like it's not really a why. I could place a why on it after the fact and tell you it's for whatever reason. And a lot of those reasons would be legitimate, right? Like running does make me a better running coach. And that is a large driver for me doing it. But I also really do love it. And I love doing the hard stuff. And even though I'm bad at uphill, like I love being in the mountains and I want to get better there. So every time we're working hard up a mountain trail or on the stair mill, these training sessions allow me to do more of what I ultimately want to do. Right. So this kind of leads to, on one hand, if you hate running and you have no real need to do these things, then maybe don't do it. Right. Like don't do the ultra thing. Try a 5K, try a 10K, see what that training will bring you. Like with a bit of training and a reasonable hydration and food strategy, you can probably finish. So we can answer that question. So you don't need to suffer through the training just to prove that. Right. Um, there's plenty of hard things to do if you're driven to it. You don't need to do the ultra thing. Second, and this is really important that I wish I'd learned like far before 30, like finishing an ultra or any of these like hard distance or hard things outside is not going to make you happy. You will not find like happiness past the finish line. If anything, you'll be happy for like a day or two. And then you go through this bout of like post-goal depression where you feel really down. It's super common. Olympians talk about it. It's all this like, it's really an important thing that we should recognize that the dopamine increase that comes with a race like results in a corresponding crash. And finishing the race just won't make you happy. Fitness goals in general don't cause happiness, be they finishing a race or lifting a certain amount of weight or hitting a certain number on the scale. They don't actually cause happiness, but the process can help. And I was so focused when I was younger on the goal that I just overlooked like the entire process. I just tried to expedite it, do the thing. And there was a lot of trudging and work and like really irresponsible training methods because I was just trying to make everything faster. So now I do much better about actually focusing on the training and going into training with an eye towards growth. And unsurprisingly, I'm probably a better athlete now than I was a decade ago because I just work hard and I learn things and I try to enjoy what I can. And I still do. It's still hard, it's still tough, but it's not a slog. And that actually has helped with the happiness and the depression and all these things. Because there's this weird happy like paradox where if you try to find happiness in fitness, you probably won't. But if you can learn to like appreciate the work and the growth and the process, then all the mental benefits come along for the ride. Anyway, this got a little more philosophical than it probably intended to, but I think it's something we need to appreciate. These things we do are very difficult. Running 100 miles is difficult. You don't need a like tangible why. You might just need to do these things for whatever reason. It's true for me. And if you're the person running with a stress fracture because you just need to, like, please stop. Like, please, like, find a therapist or whatever you need to take care of yourself. And if you need recommendations, like Bigger Than the Trail is a great organization that can help us with that exercise addiction that a lot of us like teeter on the line of in hot training volumes. But I also get it. And I come to this from a place of like getting it because the need is there for a lot of us, and we don't always do these because like we have a tangible why or can explain it to others. You got to go do it. And it's this big driver for let's see let's see what I can do. And that doesn't mean like let's see if I can finish. It's let's see how well I can finish, right? So thanks for sticking around for this short philosophical treatise on fitness. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll be back soon with another one.